Hello, Mishpacha, it's Courtney, America's Jewish mother, and I am back for Tag Tuesday. So today I'm going to do the unpopular opinions tag. I was not actually tagged in this by anyone that I'm aware of, but I've seen several people do this tag lately, including Gemma at Read a Book Gem and Kim at K. Becker's Books and Karen Evans. I will link all of their versions of this tag down below, but it's just such a fun tag. I have unpopular opinions and I want to share them. Also, I want more people to do this tag because I get such pleasure watching them because, I don't know, I'm just a weirdo who likes hearing people rant about books they didn't like. So anyway, let's get into it. Question 1, a popular book or series you didn't like. So I picked a fiction and a nonfiction here. So first, for the fiction I picked Real Life by Brandon Taylor, which I read over the summer, and I know several people on BookTube who have channels that I follow have liked this book, including Jenny at What's Bookin' and Kieran at Katie Books, and this book was also longlisted for the Booker Prize. It also has an average reading of 3.96 stars out of about 5,300 ratings on Goodreads. But I just didn't think it was good. I gave it 2.5 stars. There's not really that much plot. There's no growth in the main character, and the writing is just okay. And I got to the end, and I just feel like it had wasted my time because I didn't see what the point was. So yeah, that was the one I didn't like. Nonfiction. So I had to read last summer, not like the summer that just ended, but summer a year ago. A book by John Warner called Why They Can't Write. That's nonfiction. This book is garbage. I'm honestly a little bit embarrassed for Johns Hopkins University Press that they published it because it's terrible. The research is shoddy. You have no idea who the intended audience is. He doesn't use any sort of contemporary research into rhetoric and composition. He's using like sources from the 70s and 80s. I mean, it's garbage. So yeah, this also has an average rating on Goodreads of 4.29 stars, although it's only out of, what does it say, 443 ratings. But yeah, just don't read this book. It's bad. It's garbage. So yeah, that's the book that, even more so than Real Life, I was like so angry that this book had wasted my time and also that I had to read it for work. So anyway, moving on. Question 2. A popular book or series you love that everyone seems to hate. So this is like, I would consider it to be a sort of modern classic, but I do feel like people seem to have a love it or hate it opinion about Nella Larsen's novella Passing, which I personally really like, and I have taught it many times in my classes, and students seem to get into it because they like that it's sort of melodramatic, and also most of my students have never really thought much or even heard of the concept of racial passing, so that's usually also interesting to them. But again, some people that I follow on BookTube read it and didn't really care for it, including Lindsey at Lindsey's Book Life and Sean the Book Maniac, and that sort of surprised me. I also checked my Goodreads to see, out of the books that I had read, which ones had the lowest average rating. And one that sort of surprised me here was Amnesty by Aravinda Diga, which is a fairly recent release. It didn't come out too long ago. But it has an average rating of 3.35 stars from over 1,200 ratings. And I ended up giving it 3.75 stars rounded up to 4. And I'll admit that the narrative style of this book is not the most immediately accessible, but I think it's certainly manageable and readable with sort of minimal patience and effort. And I personally found the story that the book tells pretty compelling. And I kind of wonder if some of the lower ratings on this book are from Australian readers who dislike how the country is portrayed in the novel, because it's about a Sri Lankan immigrant to Australia who is undocumented and sort of about his struggles. So I'm kind of wondering if some of the low ratings are from readers who just didn't like what they saw when they looked in the mirror, but I guess I won't know for sure. Question 3, a love triangle where the main character ended up with someone you didn't want them to. So I don't really read many books with love triangles, so I just thought of 2 books that had some sort of love story or element to them where the character ended up with someone I didn't want them to. And P.S. there are about to be spoilers here. So the first one was Kazuo Ishiguro's Remains of the Day. Stevens should have been with Miss Kenton. Period. Second one is Rue from Conjure Women by Afia Takara. She should not have ended up with Bra Abel. This did not make any sense. There was nothing holding them together. It was really weird. So that's my feelings about that one. Next question, a popular book genre you hardly ever reach for. So this one was easy for me. It's YA. YA is beloved by a lot of people on BookTube, but not by me. I'm just not into YA. It is just not my thing. Number 5, a popular or beloved character that you do not like. So I had a hard time coming up with an example for this one, so I'm gonna slightly cheat here. And I flipped this question around. So I thought of some characters that I liked that I know were kind of divisive or that other people did not get on with as well. And 2 of those were Queenie from Candace Carty Williams' novel of the same title. And I feel like, again, Queenie has been kind of a very love it or hate it sort of book. I think a lot of people who read Queenie found her very frustrating as a protagonist. And I can sort of understand why, because she does make a lot of choices that you just kind of want to shake her and be like, no, stop, don't do that. But I found her really compelling and relatable, and I just was rooting for her. I wanted her to get it together. So that was the first one. The second one was Celestial from An American Marriage, and I also feel like An American Marriage has been kind of a love it or hate it book for some people. I really liked it. But I feel like a lot of people had complaints about Celestial's character. But I liked her, and again, I think this is a situation where you kind of have to take an imaginative step and say, if I were in this sort of situation where my husband were in prison for a number of years in a different state from the one I live in, so it's not even like she could go visit him, on a regular basis or anything like that, over a period of years, like what would happen to their relationship? And, again, a lot of people have had complaints about Celestial, but I mean, I kind of understand why she's not able to sort of sustain their relationship through all that, especially considering that at the beginning of the book, they're, still newlyweds and they haven't really spent all that much time building a life together, and this experience sort of takes some of that, takes that away from them. So yeah, it made sense to me why they were not able to sustain that relationship just through writing letters back and forth. But anyway, so yeah. What are we up to? 6. Up to 6. A popular author you just can't get into. So for me, this one I picked Arundhati Roy. I really disliked The God of Small Things when I read it back in May or whenever it was, and it makes me very, very hesitant to pick up another book by Arundhati Roy, even though I have heard good things about her second novel, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness, even including rave reviews from people who also didn't like The God of Small Things, who then liked The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. But I'm still hesitant to pick it up because I'm still thinking about how I didn't like The God of Small Things. So. Number 7, a popular book trope, you are tired of seeing. Okay, so I have 2 for this one, and if you saw me wrap up Absalom, they're not going to come as a surprise. So the first one is, I am tired of seeing books with non-linear chronology for no apparent good reason. And one of the books I felt like does this is Conjure Women. It goes back and forth between slavery time and freedom time, so that there's sort of a slow reveal of things that happen, but I don't understand why. I mean, there was really no reason why the story could not have been told in a linear fashion. So yeah, I'm kind of tired of seeing books that just sort of think, oh, well, it's a good thing to do to tell the story out of order. I mean, it's fine to do that if you have an actual reason why you're doing it, but I feel like to do it just because you feel like that's a good way to structure the book is not a valid reason. Second thing I'm tired of seeing is incest. Stop with the incest in contemporary fiction. I'm not even shocked anymore. I'm just rolling my eyes at this point thinking, really? Incest? Again, you couldn't come up with anything more creative or more shocking. You're a writer. Be creative. Stop with the incest. So yeah, anyway, rant over about that. What else? Question, sorry, I'm like scrolling through my computer here. Question 8, a popular series you have no interest in reading. So honestly, anything that would fall under sci-fi, fantasy, YA series would probably meet this criteria. So the Song of Ice and Fire, aka Game of Thrones series, Lord of the Rings, Divergent, Hunger Games, Twilight, any of those, no interest at all from me. Number 9, the book is always better than the movie. Which film or TV adaptation do you prefer more than the book? So for this one, I chose the movie adaptation of Michael Cunningham's novel The Hours, which is absolutely stunning. The acting is incredible. The editing together of the film is incredible. The score by Philip Glass is incredible. It's just, it's all just beautifully done and beautifully put together. I highly recommend it. Although I will say, to quote Addison DeWitt from All About Eve, "You're maudlin and full of self-pity. You're magnificent." So I kind of feel that way about that movie. Strap in and prepare for something very sad and bleak. But I sort of like to be in my feelings about things sometimes, which is why I think I like that movie so much. But yeah, don't watch it unless you're prepared for sad, bleak, and depressing. And the other thing I wanted to say here is I don't necessarily prefer this adaptation more than the original, but I do want to mention that the HBO miniseries of Tony Kushner's play Angels in America is absolutely amazing, and it is quite faithful to the plays. Last prompt here is to tag someone, and again, because I want to see more people do this tag, I am tagging Lindsey at Lindsey's Book Life, Heidi at My Reading Life, Brian at Bookish, and Paula at Draw Your Book. If any or all of y'all would like to do this tag, I would love to see your answers. So yeah, this was the Unpopular Opinions tag. Again, I really want to see more people do this tag, so if I didn't tag you and you want to do it, please consider yourself tagged. I hope you're all staying healthy and well. I hope you're doing good reading, and until next time, would it kill you to call your mother?